Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you all how to create this sweatshirt using heat transfer vinyl and embroidering with it. So if you would like to see how to embroider using glitter heat transfer vinyl, just go ahead and keep on watching. Okay, and the heat transfer vinyl that I'm going to be using is this glitter vinyl that I bought from Stalls. I'll leave their link down below in the description box. And I'm going to be using a light colored Madeira thread that I already have hooped. Well, I already have threaded on my machine. I'll show you that here in a second. And then the first step is, of course, to hoop my sweatshirt. And I'm using some stabilizer from Hobby Lobby. You do want to make sure you're using stabilizer with your shirt or your sweatshirt. You just need stabilizer whenever you're embroidering. So I'm going to be doing this on a white sweatshirt. So how I like to hoop my garments, I like to turn them inside out and then spray some basting adhesive to adhere it to the sweatshirt or the shirt, whichever I'm embroidering on. And I'm using a Gildan brand. Now I just place it on there to find the position that I want to put my stabilizer, and I'll put it about right here. And then I'll take this spray. This also can be found at Hobby Lobby, or Walmart also has it as well. This is a temporary adhesive, so whenever you go to cut around the stabilizer, it will remove. And this is cutaway stabilizer. I'll do a video more detailed about the different stabilizers that you can embroider with and why you would use each type. But you would want to use a cutaway stabilizer if you're going to be sewing on a garment that you're wearing. That's typically the rule. If you wear it, they say don't tear it, meaning you don't want to use tearaway stabilizer. So we're going to use the cutaway because it is a thicker material. And I'm just lifting up each corner to make sure that it's adhered properly. And that's good. And I am using my 8x13 Mighty Hoop. I really love the Mighty Hoops. They make hooping so much easier. And I do buy my Mighty Hoops from Melco. I have a Melco embroidery machine, so I buy them from the Melco website. You can also buy them from, the Mighty Hoops have their own separate website, but I always order from the Melco website. And now to hoop it, we're gonna turn it back to the inside. And you want to make sure that it is straight. So whenever you're hooping, before you do this step, you can also take your iron or your heat press and fold the sweatshirt or shirt and crease it in the middle so you can know where the center is. But I just eyeball it. But you do want to make sure that your hoop is straight, because if your hoop is crooked, then it is going to embroider crooked. And a lot of times the tags and the collar are not a good gauge, because the tags can be off-centered a lot of times, I've noticed. And you do want to make sure that your stabilizer is covering your entire hoop, because if you don't have it covering the entire hoop, it could cause some puckering on your garment, because it won't have enough, it won't be tight enough whenever you're embroidering. Okay, I believe that is straight. Hopefully that's even. And whenever you put your top hoop on, it can kind of give you a better idea to let you know if it's actually straight or not. And these hoops are magnetic. If you notice that when I put it on, it just kind of clamps down. And it looks like this one, let's see, I need to move it a little bit over. So let's move this over just a tad. And now let's rehoop. Okay, that looks pretty straight. And now we're ready to add this to our machine and start sewing. Okay, and now to the fun part, we're gonna actually sew the design. And the design that I'm going to be sewing out is a GG applique. If you can see it on the computer back there, if it'll focus. You can see it back there kinda. And then the thread color that I'm gonna be using is that purple color back there. And the first thing before you start sewing, you want to go ahead and stitch out your placement stitch. That lets you know how much vinyl that you're going to need to cover your design. And then after the placement stitch is stitched out, you want to take your heat transfer vinyl and you want to be sure to tear off the clear topping. You don't want to sew with this carrier sheet on there, so you just want to peel it off before sewing. And after we're done sewing it out, you are going to take your design and heat press it on your heat press machine, and that way the vinyl adheres to the garment other than with the stitches, and it just gives it a more clean finish. So we're going to go ahead and put this on the machine and start sewing. And since I am using a big sheet of heat transfer vinyl to cover the entire frame of it, I don't have to do the placement stitch. But if you have like very small designs, or you're doing one letter at a time, or however, it depends on your design, you do want to make sure that you have the placement stitch stitched out first, so you know exactly where to lay your vinyl. But with simple designs like this where it's going to stitch all the way out across, you can just lay the vinyl sheet across on it, so you'll know that it'll cover the entire design. Also, before we do that step, we do want to trace our design just so we know how it's going to stitch out and where it's going to stitch out. That way, if you need to move the design on your machine, you have time to do that before you start stitching. So we're just going to trace it, and it's going to show us where the design is going to stitch. And you just want to do that just to make sure that your design is not stitching out in the wrong place. So we're going to go ahead and place our vinyl back on the machine and start stitching. Okay, now that it's done, you do want to cut all of the jump stitches. Like there's one right here and here. It's kind of hard to see. 1 second. There's one right here and here. It's kind of hard to see the jump stitches, but you do want to get those cut. Okay, and the last step is to tear away the vinyl. And now we're going to cut away this stabilizer. You just want to lift it up so that it removes that bond, and just cut it from the fabric. Be careful not to cut your stitches, so you don't want to get too close to the stitches when you're cutting. And here it is. And the last step, of course, is to heat it with your heat press. And here's the final look after it's been heated with the heat press. As you can see, the heat press does give it a more flush look to the garment, and it adheres it to the garment, so it's not having that puffy effect. So that is it. Alright you guys, thank you so much for sticking around and watching this video. I hope this video was helpful to you. Just go ahead and hit that big thumbs up if you haven't already. Subscribe to my channel, hit the bell notification so you'll know when I upload a new video, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.